Hey, fuckers, guess what? We're here with Dave and Andy from the Glasspack. I hope you know them because they are fucking rad. Um, they have a new single coming out on January 20th. So go fucking listen to it. Is it the Fuzz or Pack Fuzz?
It's called The Fuzz.
That's right. The
Uh,
Fuzz.
I sent you a shorthand non-commercial MP3 and named it myself. So yeah, I get it. But
It,
it's the Glad Pack, The Fuzz.
it's, I told you earlier, Dave, I think that song fucking jams. It's like, it's right in line with the Glasspack and what I fucking expect. It's that bluesy like rock and roll with that punk fucking punch right behind it, which is
Well,
it's
there's
and you've got some
there's
jamming shit in there too.
yeah, there's a story behind it because I let Scott at Smallstone here, and he's man, that sounds like OG Glass Pack, and I was like, yeah, he was like, yeah, like the Powder Keg, and I was like. Well, that's because we wrote it, or I wrote it in like probably the middle of 2001. And we went to go record it, and we did record it. Me and Andy and Brett and Dave and the other day, and it just didn't work out. I guess we just didn't have enough practice or something. It wasn't that good. So I took that material and rewrote it, and we do it now. So nobody's ever heard it, but it actually is an OG Glass Pack song. I even wrote all the lyrics in 2001.
That's cool. It's sometimes it seems like you write a song and it's not meant to come out in that era or in that time, right? So you hold on to it, and later on down the line, it's like, okay, now's the fucking time. Here it is. Here we are. You know?
Just gotta
I
let
mean,
it simmer.
here we are in this weird political social environment, and I'm throwing some gasoline in the middle. Um, and everybody, I had a feeling because I wanted to use the marijuana leaf on the cover, so I had the feeling people were going to be like, "Well, that's not really rebellious." The hell, it's not,
Not
man. I
anymore.
wrote that son bitch in 2001, and nothing changed.
That's not
Nothing.
true. Everyone smokes weed and everyone says they smoke weed now. Like,
That changed, but Andy doesn't smoke
Yeah,
weed.
I was gonna say I don't smoke weed.
I don't either. So we're good.
I don't think Andy has a problem with it, but he doesn't use it.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
like
dude, it's not for all
I
of us,
think he
right?
I think he likes the smell of it and tries to wear his cologne sometimes. But
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I don't like to smoke, but I don't mind it. I don't mind hanging out with people who are smoking a joint or a bowl or whatever. Like it
it's
doesn't
me.
have it doesn't have a repulsive aroma. It's not like going to a metal show and hanging out with everyone who hasn't had a shower in 3 fucking days. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, or a Grateful Dead concert.
yeah.
I went. I've been in those parking lots. I didn't pay for a ticket, but I was in those parking lots.
Dude, I think a lot of people were, but I was never, that's not never a band that I could get into. I've tried on a number of occasions to listen, and it,
Yeah, and it's really weird because I'm not a huge fan of that either. I recognize the talent Jerry Garcia had to play the guitar, but it's just not the way I would play the guitar. But on the other hand, you hear Black Flag and and Greg Ginn's favorite band is the Grateful Dead, and it's like what?
yeah.
No, but it makes sense because he's playing crazy shit, but it's turned up, it's loud, and crazy. But
Yeah.
I always heard that Greg Ginn's favorite band or favorite guitar player was Jerry Garcia and Grateful Dead, so that's really weird.
That's so
Yeah.
weird. So, speaking of Black Flag, Reagan and I went to Vegas last year, about a year ago, actually, this month, and we went to the Punk Rock Museum, and Dez fucking gave us a tour of the fucking
Yes,
museum.
yes, they do that.
Yes.
they do that on the reg because I've seen where Keith does it too, and Henry
Yeah.
Rollins. They'll go, and it seems like it's all the Black Flag singers, but I think one of them was the singer of the Descendants.
Dude, they've
So he
had
can
the
take it.
Descendants, L7,
Yeah,
Black Flag, fuck,
yeah.
all
They
sorts of
pay
people.
those old dudes to come in there and give tours. It's so awesome. I
Hell
wish
yeah.
I was closer to Vegas. I wish
Yeah, Vegas sucks.
yeah, I'm sure it does. I never
It's
really
got some
stopped
cool,
in there.
it has some cool shit. So, like, no complaints, but I think the overall aesthetic of Vegas for me is like, it's not a thing. Like you and I were talking. I grew up in Detroit, so I'm used to um, a much harder,
Really.
more fucking, yes, uh,
Yeah. That's my favorite
lifestyle.
city in the whole world, Detroit. I
Is it,
love Detroit rock and roll. That's my
dude?
favorite.
I just went back. We go up there pretty often, right? Because my family and friends are still up there. But we just went like 2 weeks ago. Actually, 2 weeks ago today, we went up there, and there's this deli, fucking right outside of downtown called High Grade Deli that's got just phenomenal pastrami. And that's all I fucking wanted. I'm like, this is where we're going. This is what I'm getting. We get to the fucking restaurant, and dude, it's been there since the earlier mid 50s and it looks like it when you walk in. And I'm just like,
That's
okay,
awesome.
I'm home. This is great. We sit down. Server brings us waters and she goes, we have no pastrami. And I was just like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Ah, I'd much rather go on vacation in Detroit than Las Vegas.
Yeah, me
I know
too.
that sounds weird, but I would. I'm
I
not a
don't think,
gambler. I don't like to. I don't even buy lottery tickets. I don't know about all that.
no, you gamble
You
with your music.
yes. I guess you're right. Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
true. And
So
gamble.
how did how did you two meet originally?
Uh,
Wasn't it Adam Uncle back at UPS?
it's all kind of a ball in my memory, but
I
something to
think
do
that's
with
what it was. I
United
think it was at
Parcel.
UPS.
Yeah, there's a big UPS hub here, right? So in the '90s, it was and we all worked there. And there was a bunch of us. It was like third shift, part time, and there were a lot of musicians that worked there. I'm sure there still is. Um, and yeah, we all kind of met in there. We were all kind of about the same age, so yeah, it's just kind of mutual guys hanging out at 4 a.m. after you get off work, or sometimes, So
Yeah.
really weird because
So
sometimes I used to hang out in the parking lot of that place that got took out by the airplane. Whoa, that's crazy.
yeah, no shit. I feel bad for everyone involved in that. Like that's just
That,
it's fucking
that's what
tragic.
Stooges. That's where Stooges was at, right? Stooges.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
They're it's still there, but I think I read something that said they're closed indefinitely.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Did people die in that?
I think 14.
14. That was the last number I heard as well.
Yeah, that's horrible. Have you
Yeah.
noticed that here in the last year, a lot of airplanes keep falling out of the sky all
Dude,
over
I
the
think
place?
in the last, if we look at the last 30 years, you see it happening more and more often, right? Especially like when you get into like Asia and the European countries, I feel like it happens. It's a lot more common over there than it is over here.
It's because they're using the same old planes from the 90s.
Yeah,
Hey,
You got to
I
buy a
think
new
he's
plane
right.
sometime.
He's right. He's right.
they're still paying them
They
off.
won't spend any money. They won't spend any money on new equipment.
No, but those fucking CEOs are sure for like quick to go. Hey, I deserve a raise. Like
Oh man, they make enough to buy a million new planes,
I know. That that was one thing that really pissed me off with the superintendent of JCPS when they had that fucking hubbub a couple of years ago where he hired that logistics company to like reroute buses and figure it out and
Yeah, I
what
remember that.
paid them fucking millions of dollars. And my luckily, like my youngest was still in school, and we just took her to and from school, so it was like whatever. But he did that, and he's like, "Oh, we did that because we don't have the money to pay the fucking bus drivers." You dumbass! You just paid millions of dollars to these fucking morons who fucked everything up.
It's
Yeah,
pure.
yeah.
It's bureaucracy for sure. And even though I'm a big proponent of universities and whatnot, that shit is so overpriced. It all goes back to bureaucracy, paperwork.
Yeah,
Like these people are planning this. They're sitting in a room somewhere planning with a big map. You know, and a computer. How are we gonna make these buses all work at the same time? And it's like they probably never even rode around here, did they?
no, I would assume they didn't like they were never
They Google
there.
mapped it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
What's
they
that?
did. We could put
Maybe,
13
maybe if
stops in.
you're gonna pay somebody millions of dollars to plan a route, how about you just pay somebody $1 million to come up with an app that takes advantage of the satellite system for every bus driver and the routes of traffic?
Well, even better, just pay the fucking bus drivers. If
Yeah.
you can pay this company millions, we can afford to pay the fucking people who are actually doing the job to do the fucking job. Like Jesus Christ. I think I saw a job posting last year that said you're starting at $16 an hour. Like to drive a fucking bus with the kids on it? Are you fucking retarded? Like,
We got some backward shit going on. It's like nobody wants to give a shit about the kids. The politicians want to put all the money in the war machines and give it to
and it
Israel.
in their
These other
pockets.
things.
They
Yeah,
fucking
and in their
they just
pockets
want
for sure.
yeah,
Yes.
that's the fucking biggest thing is they're like, oh, if we do this, we can make more money. But yet, let we're gonna shift directions because I'm fucking obviously
Yeah,
I
we've
think
been going, we've been going
yeah,
on forever about this. I mean, me and Andy are pretty much both small business owners, so when we could talk for hours and complain.
yeah, oh same, yeah, me,
Well, we don't because small business owners got to learn how to eat dirt, just like a musician, right? You got to learn how to
yeah.
eat dirt sometimes. So, I've eaten plenty of dirt. You know, I'm sure
Well,
Andy's
I think
eaten a few
I think
spoonfuls as well.
for a lot of like younger musicians out there, if they're not ready to be a small business owner, getting into a band is not the fucking correct avenue because you're
Right.
going to be like hoping to eat two gas station hot dogs today and not just one. Like please let me spend that $3, it'll be great. Fucker.
Yeah, we man, we Glasspack just has done some pretty shady ass shit. Now, luckily, it was about 20 years ago, so we can probably talk about it a little bit now, but back then not so much. We had scored a roll of Subway stamps
It may
for
have not
one
been, it
tour,
may or may not have been my brother.
and so every time we went in, the whole glass pack, like morons, one after the other, with a full card of stamps, getting the whole 12-inch sub. And we stayed alive like that for a while, for
Hey, we
about a
did
month.
learn after the first time to make, don't line the numbers up in order. We had to mix them up.
Yeah.
Like how come all of your numbers are consecutive?
Check it
Start.
right.
Like, oh shit.
I mean, for all we know, they could have just trade that, that subway in fucking Anchorage, Alaska could just look up the numbers or something. I don't know, you know. Uh,
Yeah, but
but I
but
mean, my point is that when we would go play or go when we were first starting, because me and Andy had a band before, Glasspack blacklisted. But when it was a Glasspack and we started playing, we started going places to play or whatever. You know, there really wasn't anything that was below us. You know what I mean? Like we had to do what we had to do to keep going. There's at least once or twice I drove a van all the way around the country with no insurance. Do what you gotta do. You know, there's no point in having insurance if you got no gas, right? So yeah, I mean, we always did what we had to do to make things happen.
But, it was a very different time back then too.
Yes.
Yeah, we're talking, 2000 or 2001. Uh, man, our first tour totally got pooped on because fucking 9/11. We were supposed to leave in like 6 days. We go out and like the whole country's, in normal American fashion, taking everything to the extreme, and nobody wants to
Yeah.
go anywhere.
And don't forget, Small Stone was late on the release of the CDs because
Yeah, that was
we were supposed to have them before, and we didn't get them till after because we had
oh
that's how American Exhaust happened.
no, that was Man's Ruin. Man's Ruin was going to put out American Exhaust that we recorded in the fall of 2000, and then they went bankrupt. And so I had to take out a loan and do it myself. And after we put the American Exhaust out, then Small Stone said, we want to do your record. And then we made the Powder Keg. And I think we went on tour again, and the record was late. And so, yeah, so it's something like that. But yeah, so
You know,
the very first Glass Pack record was actually recorded. We'd only been around like 3 months or 4 months. Andy just joined the band because there was only three of us at first, and then he can't. I was like, come play guitar, even though he'd always played bass in our jams and other bands. And so, he just got there. We recorded a demo um, at John Cook's house, but Andy was there. And then that was like probably right at the beginning. And then I gave a copy to Adam and the Hookers, and I think he gave it to Frank Kozik in San Francisco. And nobody even heard of us or seen us play or anything. And I come home one day, and there's a message from Frank Kozik. And I'm like, what the hell? So he's like, he left a message with my grandma. My grandma said, hey, this man in San Francisco called you. His name was Frank. And I was like, what? I was like, no, wait a minute. It can't, no. No, because I knew it took me a few minutes, but I knew no. I said, you talking about the guy who owns Man's Ruin Records that put out like all the shit? And I called him back, and he was like, yeah, I got a copy of your demo. I was like, did we record it like last month? Actually, in San Francisco, and I think it was Adam from the Hookers. And he was like, yeah, go record and get it to me, and we'll pay you for the studio time. So we went and did that, and we got it done. And when it was time to pay the technician, Will, as we recorded in his basement in Crescent Hill, Will Hancock, and I called, and they were like, "Oh, giving me the runaround." But I called a few more times. They were like, "We're actually about to file for bankruptcy," and I was like, "Oh shit!" And so I had to take a loan at the public finance for like 35 fucking percent, and 'cause I didn't have any credit. I was like 24. Well, I didn't even want credit back then. And so I took that out, and I paid Will. He forgave us some, and I paid him. And then I made 1,000 CDs, and uh, I sent one to this random website, stonerrock.com, and they loved it so much they were always talking about it. They called it the next Monster Magnet Spine of God, and I was like, oh, you're coming from my heart. And like, so we became friends with them. And then on that first tour, it was us and the stonerrock.com dude, Dan, in a van with his computer in 2001, running a website selling Stoner Rock and Stoner Rock, because we really didn't know what that meant. And
Sure.
he and it was Witch Mountain, and Witch Mountain got fucking huge. And so we were all together, Witch Mountain, the Glasspack, and stonerock.com. And so we called it I think we called it uh the Ass Pack Bitch Mountain and Bonerock.com tour. And it was wild. So we went out west. We'd never been out west before. But back to the record, I had to do all that shit and get that done. I was sending them to all over the fucking place. So I sent him to Australia. This wise guy down there thought he wasn't going to pay for him. And like, I got on stonerock.com and told all the fans, and like, he got shamed. And like, he called me from Australia the next day and sent me the money. Uh, so yeah, it was just wild back then. And but that record was meant for Man's Ruin. And Man's Ruin was putting out at that time. They were putting out like Nebula, the Melvins, the first Queens of the Stone Age, and the Gods of Strippers, and Sleep, and just everything, and like we were going to be a
Yeah.
part of that, and Witch Mountain was too. And that the same time we both had recorded a record, and they went bankrupt and were stuck with it, and we came together with the stonerrock.com guy and turning. I don't know if you know Witch Mountain, but I see him because I played with him. I see him online. They got a lady singer, man. They blew up. They're like huge doom band, and like that's who we were touring with the first time we did anything really long and went out west and stuff.
Hell yeah. So,
Yeah.
like, aside from those things that you mentioned, was there a show on that run that just fucking like burned its memory in your brain?
Yeah, I think there's a few. Remember that one? That one in Portland was pretty good. Witch
Yeah.
Mountain. And their
And
bass player,
Austin's always good.
yeah, Austin was always good for the Glass Pack because we had friends who were big BMXers, and that was like, uh, like Jimmy Levan. They were like pro BMXers and run a BMX shop. They would take our music all the time using their video, but they were sort of centered in Austin, Texas. So we got shows there. That's where we first started playing was Austin and New Orleans and Memphis. But as far as that big first tour with American Exhaust, I remember that Portland show being fun. Uh, the bass player from Witch Mountain played with us because we lost our bass player on the first night of the tour, and Andy had to play bass. Andy's always been like the replacement bass player, which brings us to today. He played the bass on the Fuzz, so I'm saying, but he's really the guitar player. So, but the Portland show was fun. It was really weird to be, packing up at like 2 a.m. and like this Legion looked like George Romero, Night of the Living Dead. All these hookers got off work. Sorry, not hookers. All these strippers got off work and started walking down the street. But that played, I mean, it was insane. It was like there was going to be a riot of strippers. That's how many strippers were in the street. I still
That's
remember
so
that.
wild.
Hey, do you
Yeah.
remember? I think it was the Tros or something that the guitarist singer guitarist
Wait,
only
hold
had
on.
one arm and a nub, and he fucking like he was jamming guitar just with one arm and a
Bad
nub.
as fuck, dude. He was bad as fuck. He was like a hybrid metal punk band, kind of like the Hookers. And he was just a drummer and this dude with one arm playing guitar on the neck, not strumming, singing. And we played with them in Missoula, Montana, and at Jay's upstairs, which is still there, it's still a big club in Missoula. Uh, but yeah, they were the
Yeah.
trolls. They were cool. There was times when we were playing for a lot of people. There was times we were playing for nobody. Sometimes when we were playing for nobody, we were playing with really cool bands. So we remember that show just for
Right.
the band. But then there might be another show we remember as a big crowd, and we hated all the bands we were playing with. So it was always like whatever.
Well,
One time,
pros and
one
cons,
time
right? Like,
I would never forget this one. We were playing in the record store in the Mission in San Francisco,
Yeah.
and these little kids, while we were playing, like we shouldn't have been playing in there. It was too small. It was louder than God, just like it's a punk rock record store in the Mission in San Francisco, and we're playing, and these little kids keep dropping out of a hole in the ceiling, and there's smoke coming out, like sweet smoke. And I'm sitting there coughing while I'm trying to play. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And it's like, man, there's a bunch of kids uh, went up in the hole in the attic and they're smoking crack up there. And they were like, 12, dude. Little punk rock kids just keep coming out of this hole while we're playing. And it's just all this sweet smoke rolling up behind them and shit. And I remember that one real good.
that's
Um,
wild. That's
yeah,
twice crack has come up today.
it was one of the strangest things I ever saw. But they watched us play and they fucking loved it. Whatever. But this was literally like 12-year-old kids coming out of a hole in the ceiling right beside us while we're playing, and a bunch of crack smoke coming out too. Uh,
That's fucking wild.
yeah.
Jeez.
We that same time we got to play in the Covered Wagon, which is like a huge old club. It has a different name now. I think it's Annie's, but it's in the Bay Area in San Francisco. We got to play there with this really awesome band called Gamma Ray and another band called Blessing the Hog that had the dude that recorded one of the engineers for High on Fire, Billy Anderson, and uh and the Melvins. He was in that band, and Witch Mountain. That was a really fun show.
That
Austin was
that's fucking
fun.
cool.
I don't remember a lot of the other shows off the top of my head, but I can't remember all that stuff. Andy might
Yeah.
remember.
No, but it's not about remembering all of them. It's about the ones that are most memorable to you, right? Like, I think to anyone, a bunch of 12-year-olds smoking crack and a bunch of crack smoke, that is a memorable fucking show, dude. Like,
It's very memorable when you're playing, and it's like all of a sudden they keep dropping out of this hole in the ceiling right next to you, like while you're playing. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing up there? And it's like, steak,
And for
fucking
some
sweet
reason,
smoker.
Brett just kept playing faster and faster.
Yeah, for no reason. He's probably high on crack. Those little kids
oh,
had smoke blowing around everywhere. The whole place smelled like crack. Um,
that's so fucking wild.
yeah. It was insane, and it was just but it was a really cool record store, right? It was really punk rock. I never seen anything like it. And it was on the Hispanic side of town. I can't remember which way, but it's the Mission and Mission Street, San Francisco. Um, and we didn't play
So
Los
how
Angeles that time.
how many times did you guys like tour the states?
Well, I remember three, four, or potentially five big ones, and then a shitload of little ones and a shitload of one-offs. So I don't really know, but people who were around said it was a lot. I said it was a lot. It was like we were always going to play somewhere. There was really weird things happen sometimes, and then other times things turned out pretty well. One time we went to Manhattan and I didn't sleep all night because you can't sleep in a van in Manhattan. And we showed up early because you got to show up early to get a parking spot in New York City. But it's just a
Yeah.
total mess. And so we got to play at CBGB's, which is one of my favorite things. And before they closed, and we played for the College Music Journal Festival, which at that time was kind of like South by Southwest, but South by Southwest is more like it's more like music industry people and film industry people, whereas the College Music Journal was a magazine, one magazine.
Yeah,
But
I remember. Uh, so I
all the
remember the
bars had
CMJ
bands.
because they
Yeah.
had what was it, bi-monthly, I think is what they did with their magazine, and everyone had a CD with 20 or 30 different fucking bands on it. I used to love that, dude,
We
because
were
you
we were
found,
part of that. We were part of
dude.
those kinds of things. Like there was Lollipop magazine, and we had a song on one of their CDs. They were a big magazine too. I can't remember. They might have been from Boston, but it's Lollipop magazine. They're a punk rock magazine. A lot of times, like we just didn't really fit in any category, so I'd just take advantage of it and send shit everywhere. So I'd be like,
Yeah.
all right, we're sending the punk magazine over here, stoner rock magazine over here, hippie rock over here, doom over here. And that's how all the shows were for the Glass Pack. It's like we never knew exactly who we were going to play with or what kind of band it was, and we really didn't care.
Well,
But to
dude,
us,
that goes back to like what you and I were talking about earlier about all the fucking the labels. Like I understand a band being put in a genre or subgenre so it's easier to find, but I think especially now people are more open to a broader range of music than they ever have been, right? Because when we were younger, it was, I feel like the fucking punk rock kids were just punk rock. And if you couldn't listen to metal, they fucking hated you if you did that. But oh,
it
if you
kind
were,
of that I know exactly what you're talking about. It was totally true, but it seems like it kind of died off towards the end of the '90s.
well, it
That
did.
whole,
And
that whole,
thank God,
that
like,
whole thing.
I think, like Lemmy, dude, thank you, Lemmy. He's like what I
Yeah,
would say is
man.
the original fucking crossover. He was the guy who, or, Motorhead was the band that fused, some metal and some punk, and everyone was welcome. And when you went to see Motorhead, it was punk kids and metal kids, and they all enjoyed it, which
And
is like
Black
holy,
King too.
yeah,
Yeah, it was a
like
mix. So it's kind of like that was kind of probably the way it was, in the '70s or whatever, and then the '90s come along and or the '80s come along, and there's all this hair glamour garbage metal. I've never liked this. I don't like this kind of stuff. Like you're not going to convince me that Motley Crue is good. I don't care which album it is or anything. I don't care. I want to ever hear Motley Crue again. And but so the '90s come
you brought it
along.
up.
Yeah. And then the '90s come along, and things start to get a little muddy. So,
I
so
think
it's
the
like,
80s is where that line
yeah,
really started to divide, because you
yeah,
had the real glam and makeup, Poison and Slaughter and fucking Motley Crue, and then the flip side of that is you had the DIY Black Flag, Minor
yes,
Threat, right? Like all of
yeah.
that shit, which was it
It's
created
very
such a huge,
combative. It was very combative in
yeah.
that time. But when the '90s came along and things started to get kind of fuzzy, it kind of went away. And now here we are. And I think I don't know, man. I don't know what the metal dudes. I mean, they try. They seem like they really want to be metal, right? I don't know if they're gonna like Glasspack or not. I don't know, but
Dude,
Listen,
all right.
I'm a metal guy. I like Glasspack.
Yeah, you're also not one of the kids. But
well, dude, so it's so funny. Like, I'm a big I Hate God fan. I've been listening to those guys since the mid '90s. 30 fucking years I've been listening to them. And
I got a story on that. I got a big story on that.
so
I
this year I went to see them like four times, and the last time I went to see them, not the majority of the crowd, but pretty damn near half the crowd at a sold out show was, I think, sub 25-year-old kids, which were like, what the fuck?
They don't care. They don't care anymore in terms of age of anything. They don't care. They don't. I feel great about this, being as old as I am and playing because I see these kids. They'll play with anybody. They'll play with old folks. It's like they
Yeah.
don't give a shit anymore what they're really diverse. They don't give a shit anymore. Like when I was a kid, yeah, it was like you're a metalhead, you're a punk, y'all are gonna fight each other. And this is like late '80s, early '90s, but then it changes. Now it seems even everything like that seems a lot better. But I
Oh, it
noticed
is
that the
100%.
yeah, the metal kids today, though, I noticed them, man. They're usually like, man, we're real metal. And back when I was a kid, it wasn't like, yeah, we're real metal. It's more like, yeah,
Yeah,
metal.
that was it. You don't fucking
And,
belong. Get out of here. You're not
and I'm
part of
not
our
a
crowd.
boomer. I'm not a boomer at all. And I love the music before my generation, so I don't fit any stereotypes. But the idea that you know, uh, I don't know. I probably better not say. It's just like it's just like metal was scary when I was a kid, you know. But I mean, maybe it's because I was punk rock. But if I go, I saw Slayer, I saw Clash of the Titans, I saw Slayer, Megadeth, and Anthrax, and Louisville, man, and it was awesome. But I was a punk kid, and so I was in that figure eight slam dancing, and motherfuckers, metalheads were punching me in the mouth.
Yeah,
So
but that,
and that
I
shit was
think
real.
Slayer's
That shit was
another
real.
band
That shit's very
that
real. It's
absolutely,
very
but
real.
Slayer was another band that kind of helped bridge those genres because they always gave it up to their punk rock roots, and they fucking did what was it, Divine Intervention, which was a
It took
bunch of
it took a long time, like we were talking about earlier. It took a long time for information to get around. So by the time you saw Slayer, you didn't realize Kerry King was a Dead Kennedys fan until you see DK on his fucking guitar. Like
right.
forever. You would never
Yeah,
guess that. You would never guess that Kerry King loved Dead Kennedys back then. It's just not
yeah.
something. Or the fact that Metallica liked the Misfits in
Oh, they
Kentucky.
loved them.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's really weird, all that stuff. But I was going to tell you that one time me and Andy were in New Orleans playing at a bar. And I was there twice, and I don't know if Andy was or not, but we were always staying in an apartment building with the bass player, and I hate God, Gary Mater.
Oh
And
yeah.
him and his girlfriend would cook us dinner and shit. But this place is wild. This
Was he
place,
with Tomasa then?
yeah, that's exactly who cooked this dinner. He cooked the
Yeah,
Glasspack
dude,
dinner.
Gary's a buddy
And
of mine. I fucking love him. One of the nicest dudes
if
ever.
if you get to talk to him again, tell him I said hi and ask him if he remembers us coming down there and playing the Dixie Tavern in the building where he lived. The first time we went there were fucking guns and drugs and holes in the wall on
Yeah.
the first floor because there were people in this building. And if you get caught with guns and drugs in the same spot, it's a lot more trouble for you in court. And so there were holes in the wall everywhere that had like fucking money in one, drugs in the other, guns in another. But he lived in that building, but he wasn't part of that. He lived in that building. But yeah, I remember that too. But Tommaso and Gabe made us dinner once and let us crash in their little apartment that was attached to that building. And
Hell
so,
yeah.
yeah, it was cool.
We're
So,
actually gonna go see him here in a couple months. They're I Hate God and Crowbar going back on tour. They're playing Evansville and then Covington. So we're gonna go fucking check it out. They just added a
yeah,
second show in Covington, a fucking
that's a
both
hard show
shows.
right there.
Dude,
That's a really
they
hard show.
fucking
I've seen Crowbar. I've never seen I Hate God, but I've seen Crowbar. Back in the 90s, I saw them when they first started.
oh yeah. Back
Yeah.
in like Planets Collide days.
Yeah, I also got to see Pantera too, man. I was 15 and they were playing at the Mercury Paw in Whiskey Row on Main Street. And we went to all the shows in the early 90s. Didn't matter what kind of band was playing. Uh, because that, like we were talking about, that kind of frizzled away a little bit. That whole separation thing between metal and punk. But I went to that show and it was Pantera and Cowboys from Hell, and I paid $5 to get in. And their singer gave me a beer, and he's like, "You want a beer?" I was clearly 15, and he gave me a beer, and I was slam dancing really hard, and he gave me a beer, and he invited me into the room, into the band room, in the green room, and gave me some more beer. And then he signed my Pantera Cowboys from Hell ad with a groupie's eyeliner pencil. And I still have that. And Yeah, so I have all kinds of crazy rock and roll stories. I've met fucking all kinds of people, and it just happens. Like I don't know why it happens. It just happens. But a
Well,
lot of times,
dude,
Andy, he was with me too.
it happens because like as big as the rock and roll world seems, it's really fucking
People really
small, dude.
small.
Yeah, like you start talking to people and you're like, oh, I was talking to so and so, like, oh, I fucking have that's like just like that. You're like, oh, Gary the bass player, like, oh yeah, dude, fucking Gary's a buddy of mine. Oh shit.
Yeah,
Like it's such a small world, and then especially when you get into like the fucking subgenres and the stoner and the doom. Like I feel like every subgenre has like 12 people that like you go to a show and those 12 people are going to be at that fucking show. It doesn't matter what band it is, as long as they're in that genre, they're fucking there. Even if you fly across the country and go to a show fucking in California, those same 12 people are fucking there, and you're just like, what the fuck, dude? You know what I mean?
yes, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, guys. I mean, that first Glasspack tour we went to San Francisco, and there was a few buddies that showed up. One of them was Jimmy LeVan, right? So well, our little Louisville world seems to travel everywhere. So, everywhere we went, somebody would surprise us from Louisville because they saw that we were playing. And almost every show, almost sometimes, not like
That
Iowa, Montana, and shit, but everywhere else. Nebraska. We played in Nebraska one time, and I don't know what the hell we were doing. We were in some strange basement in the party. I didn't know what was going on. You remember that?
Yes, I do.
couldn't play basements in Idaho because that's where they store all the potatoes.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
oh
I mean,
shit,
we were in a basement somewhere out there. It was either Idaho or Nebraska or something. But yeah, it was like crazy.
that's fucking
But
cool. So let me ask you this: like,
mhm.
the Fuzz is getting ready to come out on the 20th. What else do you guys have behind that you're putting out? Are you going to do like an EP or full length?
Well, the third house communications label has the 7-inch with some of our Danzig songs on them. Uh, we have more, but right now it's just three. So if Reagan does good with third house communications on one, we might do another one. Um, we get the license for them, because we don't want to get hunted down by Danzig and his
Yeah,
people. They're pretty tough. And so
I don't
there
know.
may
He
be,
got knocked out pretty easy, I think.
yeah, but he's got lots of lawyers
That's
and
true.
and agents. He, uh, so that's coming out. The How, which is a Sam Hain song on the A side, and on the B side is two Misfits songs. We Are 138 and 20 Eyes, and that's on some uh, splatter orange blue vinyl. And there's only 250, and so that's coming out, and then maybe there'll be more of that. Meanwhile, I'm going back to the studio. We have a Chrome cover, March of the Chrome Police, that I'm going to work on. And Chrome was like this 1970s San Francisco band, really high on drugs, but they're considered to be like the first industrial band. And so, but we're doing their song March of the Chrome Police. As you see, we have a lot of police themes in the music these days. I'm a lawyer, right? So I'm kind of thinking about it anyway. But it happens that way, and I see everything that's going on. I don't like it, so we ain't gonna get into all that. But
Yeah,
the
no, I,
the
I don't think I, I don't think anyone likes it. There's too much fucking bullshit.
we'll be here for a
And
week, and Andy will be off working. So
yeah,
um, so there's that stuff and the potential. And Reagan has the records now, waiting on the jackets for that 7-inch.
now he
The
said
front,
he's expecting the records next week.
oh,
Um,
okay, all right, okay. So I misunderstood him. And then the that the fuzz is digital, and then the third house communications records vinyl, and then there's probably going to be the chrome cover, uh, digital, and in the same time we're working on dare I say it, our Moon Patrol album we've been working on since 2013, and it's just about there. There was a lot of hurdles and issues. I went to law school and then started law practice and with zero money, and so and then there's 2020, right? And man, we had so much stuff lined up for 2020. We were gonna play like 7 times during South by Southwest at unofficial parties, including like Stoner Jam and the Spider Ball, like huge fucking shit. And we were getting good spots. And I think what makes the Glass Pack appealable to the stoner scene and the promoters, people it's a different thing, you know. It's not that slow, doomy stuff. Now it is sometimes we can play that shit like Jim Beam or Good Green, but it's fast and it's punk
Yeah,
and
but
it's still fuzzy and stoned out.
I
So
think there's
I
a lot that is like right there. Yes, there is some like slow doomy shit, but there's also some real fast like stony fucking super groovy, almost punk rock shit. Like, you guys I think mix that really fucking well. And so it's really easy to translate to different crowds, right?
yeah, but
The punk
we
rock
can
crowd, the
play
stoner crowd.
we can play some dooms too, you know, like
Yeah.
we always saved a doom song towards the end of the set, you know, for a long time. Jim Beam was basically doom and jam band material combined. But but so yeah, so we're gonna do those records and then we're gonna try to get the Moon Patrol out. And at the same time, me and Andy have been playing together. We try to get together every week. We play with the drummer once a month. Sometimes Mark Campbell, he was in my other band, Muddy Nasty River. And Mike Earther, who plays bass with us, was um, an original member of Savage Master, Blade of the Ripper, and some other bands. Strike City. And Mark and Mike were together in Strike City for a long time. Back, me and Andy were in the Glasspack ages ago. So we kind of fit together like a well-oiled machine. However, we're not ready to play yet because I don't like to play until the shit is where it's undeniable, you know? Like
Yeah.
undeniable. Like somebody's gonna show up and they're gonna get their face melted um, for a half an hour, and so maybe 6 songs, and then we're gone. But yeah, so we ain't gonna play for a while, but we've been writing lots of music and demos and writing guitar leads and stuff and doing things that we didn't do before, like playing dual guitar leads, like call and response style, and then trying to potentially maybe play dual guitar leads, like Kiss or uh, Iron Maiden or something like that. Throw that in there, and
Oh yeah,
then
you're gonna throw out Killers or something.
yeah, Detroit Rock City.
There you go.
And, yeah, that guitar lead with Paul and Ace is the best. Uh, but yeah, so there's that. We've been doing a lot of stuff, and I've been learning how to do the reels. I got I got caught up on Instagram. I got caught up on BandLab. I got caught up on Bandcamp. I got caught up on DistroKid. I'm just really amazed at how things that were a struggle in the mid '90s, when me and Andy were doing things, are so easy. They're just in my pocket. Like
Dude,
we'd have to like go rent the Tascam, plan this all out. We'd have to go rent the Tascam from the Duop shop and a couple microphones. We didn't have a whole lot of money, right? So and then everybody would like clear their entire calendar for a weekend, and we'd go in some radioed house and then record everything. And it'd take me a few months. I put it all together. But this was before the Glass Pack, so
well, and that was a time when you didn't have email. Everything was snail mail. So it was like, especially for the people who weren't fucking local, be like, oh dude, I recorded this thing, send it to you. It shows up there 7 days later. It takes them 2 weeks to record something. You know what
you
I
remember,
mean?
remember how I used to get those Maximum Rock and Roll, Book Your Own Life magazines? Be flipping through them, trying to figure out somebody in Iowa where we could go play. You remember that? And the Maximum Rock was yeah, it was Maximum Rock and Roll punk rock magazine, the classic magazine, the best that ever existed. and they had this once a year issue called Book Your Own Life, right? It was Maximum Rock and Roll, right? Or what? No, maybe it's Punk World. I can't remember, but there was a magazine that put this. Yeah, so you go buy if you manage to be able to find this motherfucker somewhere, there'd be like 3 copies of it, and you'd have to be waiting for a week for the delivery driver to get there, and you'd get one, and the information would already be a year outdated, and
Yeah. I
it had people's names and addresses, phone numbers, and we got to the point where we got into the electronics, so we were on both sides of the field. So I got Book Your Own Life eventually that had email addresses in it, but at first it was just some dude's name and an address. It might have his band name on there or something, But
It
you
was
pay
maximum rock and roll.
like $20, all these bands across the country would pay $20. We did it too, and your name would be in there, and it was all organized as states. So Alaska or yeah, Alaska. No, Alabama would be first. Then Alaska, and they go all the way down to the thing, and you could go through there and you find them. Then you got to get their address or their phone number, and maybe their phone number was still legit, maybe not, or you had to send them a letter. So it take like it would. So you'd send a letter to them, and hopefully, maybe in a couple of months, they'd write back and say, "Come play."
Yeah. Well, and you're like, dude,
And
here's
send
my
their phone
number.
number.
Please call me from a number that works so we can make this happen. And then you
The
pull
first
into
Glass
town
Pack
and
tour the first Glasspack tour, we had the calling cards. Remember that? Remember that?
Oh
The
yeah.
calling cards? No, it wasn't. It wasn't Glasspack. It was Blacklisted. So it's before the Glasspack. So we would go play somewhere like Chicago or whatever. We had calling cards. We had pagers. We had
hell yeah.
pagers and calling cards. And like an AT&T calling card, you had to put this like 5,000 number digit in the phone so
Yeah.
you could call somebody in like Chicago.
I know,
Yeah,
dude, but you know what they did with those is people would memorize someone else's number and then they'd go to the fucking payphone and be like, "Oh, I got to make some long distance calls." And they'd use someone else's fucking calling card and call people all over the world.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. That's great.
It
Yeah.
was great until someone needed it and they fucking couldn't use it.
Well,
Like,
what was really unique about those times, the kids won't really understand today is that, there wasn't this place with 100 Misfits fans, where you could just dial it up anytime and be like, hey, you want to listen to the Misfits? No, you had to like get out somehow in your city and maybe you would run across one person who'd heard the Misfits, and then
yeah,
you guys were friends, and then he would give you the Dead Kennedys, you would give him Black Flag, and or if it was '90s bands, they'd give you Soundgarden. I'd give my friend Soundgarden, he'd give me Mudhoney, and like and it was rare. And so like if you saw somebody on the side of the street, wearing a Dead Kennedy shirt, you were like, what? Stop the car.
pull
Is
over.
that a Dead
Yeah,
Kennedy shirt? Was that dude wearing Dead Kennedy? Let's turn around and go talk to him. And
yeah,
we would turn around and go talk to him. And this is how you got friends, and this is how you found music. And it was very slow, but it was way more special and way more fun and exciting when it actually did happen. I mean,
yeah.
you don't have the
Well,
convenience of quick correspondence and information flow like today, but uh, it was exciting.
yeah. Well, and back then when you heard a new band, you really like listened like in so intently to everything you could find of them to really make your decision. Whereas now I think there's so much flash in the pan shit that people go, nah, 30 seconds of that song, fuck this band, I'm on to something else. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, that's a little disappointing. However, I have learned how to make short form content, and that's something that the Glasspack's always done. So there would be like that 7-10 minute Jim Beam and Good Green and that 30-second hydroplane reprise, that was back and forth. I just had to learn the technology, but I like that idea of like mixing things up and having a 30-second song and then a 10-minute song. So I'm hip to all that shit and the fast flow of information. It's weird to me that it's like this, but it's fast. You know,
It su-
Me and Andy will make a demo, and the longest part is me putting the guitar lead together. After that, it's like on the internet in like fucking 15 minutes, you know, and everybody's like liking it. And so, yeah, it's really strange. And back then too, like something I want to say, there was that separation between like punk and metal and whatnot genres of music, but that kind of sort of only applied to the fans. Like when it
yeah,
came to musicians, if we found somebody like Andy and he's listening to Morbid Angel, but he can play the bass, and I'm listening to Dead Kennedys, oh, then we were going to be cool anyway because we had
yeah,
to. There wasn't that many musicians who were willing to play things that weren't fucking poppy. I know that's the biggest scourge in life is pop music. The only
dude. It was
pop
the
music,
same.
the only pop music worth a damn is like the beginning of rock and roll and like the late '60s and early '70s. And so, other than that, I don't think, and maybe a little bit in the '90s. I like underground rock. I like the Stooges,
I don't know. There was some
MP315,
good pop in the '80s, dude.
I guess. Man, I just could not like
Listen,
it.
if you can't say that Michael Jackson's Thriller wasn't good,
I am a Michael Jackson fan, especially before, you know, Thriller. I'm a big
yeah.
fan. But
So
Michael Jackson's something else, man. He's like from another planet.
for sure, but
Yeah,
that is he fucking it was pop music. That was
it was.
also Michael Jackson Thriller tour was my first concert.
Nice. What was your first concert, Andy?
Oh shit, I don't remember.
No, I remember. I saw REM and Robin Hitchcock, the Orange Tour, in 1987 or 1988.
Oh
Very
shit.
quickly, though, very quickly, I got into punk rock, though, and I was in the Louisville punk rock scene with, you know, literally thousands of fucking kids going to see like King Horse and Crane. And at that time, you know, it's kind of understood across the country that, you know, if there was going to be this place of alternative music that was going to pop off, it's either going to be Louisville or it's going to be Seattle. And we know what happened.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Louisville
that's
really kicked Seattle's ass.
well, I think Seattle probably kicked Louisville's ass.
Yeah, I was just talking
Maybe you're
shit.
being sarcastic.
I was,
So
yeah.
you're being
So no,
sarcastic.
I think the reality is though, yes, like Seattle absolutely blew up and fucking, kind of took over the world for a few years. But even today, talking to bands, they're still so heavily influenced by a lot of the music that came out of Louisville, dude.
Oh yeah. Oh
It
yeah.
it's mind boggling. It's really cool to fucking to hear people
Even
say, "Oh
even
well,
really really old music, because like I talked to Jello Biafra. He's like one of my friends, and like he's always asking me for this band from Louisville from the late '60s or early '70s called Marcus, and
I bet
I
Reagan
can't
fucking knows
find.
about that shit."
It's really rare and really expensive. But he also asked me about the psychedelic stuff, and for a long time, I didn't know there was a psychedelic scene here. Well, it turns out there actually was, and they used to make their own records at the blind school. These records are seriously valuable. They're like 45s and stuff. They're from the early '70s and late '60s in Louisville. So he asked me for those. I have other friends who know all about like squirrel bait and slint, and then Glasspack's a different thing. There's people who like Louisville music for sure. Um,
Oh yeah. Well, Louisville has
yeah,
such a, there's it's such a rich history of music here, and not necessarily big explosive bands that are selling out stadiums, although Kentucky has some of those fucking people as well. But I think the music that comes from here is one, it's true. It's true to the people like we talked about, and that
agreed.
really that's where people connect, and that's what influences those fucking people. I mean, I think we have some of the best music in the fucking world from right here.
Yep, and we live in a very what I call a boring city where there's nothing else to do but play music or ride a skateboard or make art. And
Yeah,
so
but that's not fucking boring, dude. Like
no,
that's
no,
that's what life
I'm
should
saying
be.
that no, I agree. I'm saying that otherwise very boring.
Yeah.
To somebody like us three, otherwise it'd be really boring. If there wasn't that music uh, camaraderie, amongst various groups of musicians, because to me, there's not really a cohesive Louisville scene. There are different little factions, and
That's everywhere. And
yes,
like I think it's so wild. Like I've been trying to think of a way to really like make that come together because I
I
don't
was here when that came together. That was the early
well,
'90s, and
like even
it didn't
but
last
even
very
to
long.
no, it never does because
Yeah,
the thing that we always come back to, the problem that we always have with people is their fucking egos. I am, you are, fuck your
yeah.
ego, dude.
I had to
Like,
go. I might have had a little bit of a problem with that, but in the end, like we created our own thing. We never really fit in anywhere, right? There was never really any place for us to fit in. And when we started playing, there wasn't even nowhere to play. There was
right.
nowhere. Like we had to play in this place called the Rudyard Kipling that was set up for like dinner and plays.
Over on
And
4th Street, I remember that place. I
yeah,
remember that
we
stage
fucking
too.
our people would destroy that place. We should have been playing behind chicken wire back then. Like this shit was crazy. There'd be like a hole in the floor, somebody smash a urinal, and I'd be like, how the fuck do you even break a urinal? Like, how do you do that? And let's if it falls off the wall, I get it, but how does it fucking just break and like shit like that? But it was crazy. There wasn't anywhere to play. We had like the Toy Tiger and the Rudyard Kipling. It was either, and the Toy Tiger wasn't letting everybody in, and
Right.
it wasn't all that hip punk rock. But the
Now, and
Rudyard
you had
Kipling,
like early 2000s, there was the Brick House for a bit over on
yeah, we played
Barstown
there.
Road.
I played in the Brick House one time by myself with an acoustic guitar, Glasspack songs with this band that nobody knew who they were, My Morning Jacket. And I saw him play. I ain't a big fan, but that they were playing there too. But I played brick. We played at the Brick House. We played at the Pandemonium. We played at Tech World. Did you ever hear about that one? That's across the
So,
street from Southern High School. This old bowling alley.
mhm. I'll
Yeah,
tell you a quick story about Brick House. Um, you know that band Strung Out, California punk rock band?
I think I heard of it. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
like they were at one point. I don't know if they still are, but at one point they were pretty big, and they were playing a show at Brick House, and they had their big ass bus on fucking Bardstown Road, and it's just like what? So,
Hey, the Brick House used to be somewhere else.
well, at this point it was right next to
A
Cahoots.
Taco Bell. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, between Cahoots and Taco Bell. So me and some friends of mine go
that's
over to
where I played,
Cahoots,
man.
and we pounded down a shit ton of drinks, dude. We over like an hour. So we got nice and ripped and go to Taco Bell and go to the bathroom as we're going into Brick House. And the one of the dudes from Strung Out was talking shit about Kentucky. And I was just like, mind you, I was a very different person then, but I was like, fuck you, dude.
I was too.
Like, we'll get into it. And we go in, they start playing. He comes off stage into the fucking mosh pit, and we get into a fight, dude. He like pushes me, I swing at him. He turns around and fucking beelines for the stage and gets behind security and's like, "Fuck you, I'll fuck you up." And I'm like, "What the, you fucking pussy? Come on!" Like he's probably got a foot on me. He's super tall. I'm like, "Come on,
Sounds
dude,
like
let's fucking go."
it sounds like some typical stuff that would happen in that little area.
Yeah, yeah.
For a long time, like Cahoots was like brutal. When I hung out in there, wow, it was fucking brutality. I was in there as a little kid. I mean, me and Andy played in there one time when it was called the Snagglewitz, which is like hooligans backwards. And then we played in there. we also played, or I played with the Decline Effect in there later on. But that place, man, oh my God. When I was in there, when I was about 26, 27, 28, maybe even 30, man, that's fucking wild. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was a dirty, fucking drugged out, fucking fighting, madness, violence, and everything else going on in there all the
Well, dude,
time.
even
With all
yeah, I
Louisville
think
musicians too.
it just
All
kept
the
getting
all the
worse and
punk
worse, dude.
nasty motherfuckers. Yeah. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah,
I
those
got
were the fucking I mean,
I got kicked out of there one time, man. I think everybody got kicked out of there at some point. Like it was just ruthless. It was ruthless in there. I don't even want to repeat some of the things that I did in there. Um,
yeah, no, me neither. It was
that's something Andy might not have saw because he wasn't really out drinking. Uh, but it was also around 2007, 2008. It was around or 2006 in that area. He wasn't in the band, and um, they were doing the Dirty Women thing. And I was hanging out with those guys in cahoots: Eric McManus, Chad Homan, and then we did those last couple tours in 2008, East Coast and West Coast, and we played Roadburn. And then I went to school and joined the Decline Effect later on, about 5 years later. So, but we
damn.
played a reunion show, and then there's been some other things go on. But I got to the point where there's no way I was gonna fucking live much longer, at 35 like I did when I was 25. So,
Well, I think we all hit those times where it's like if I keep going, I got a good like 2 or 3 years left in me, and then I'm fucking gone, but having that realization kind of helps us grow up, become wiser, and go, oh, I can actually share the dumb shit I did to teach some of these younger kids to, maybe don't do this dumb shit, but it's okay to do that dumb shit,
well,
you know?
hopefully they listen because I don't think we would have listened.
Nobody listens.
No,
I don't think
no,
that any of us three probably wouldn't have listened at a certain point in your 20s.
no.
You just had to go do it. It's like, and we had to do everything all the time. I mean, me and Andy were playing together s- probably somewhere around 20 or 21. We're putting, I was putting out records. Man, I was doing crazy shit. Like Andy had it's okay to say it. Andy had a stripper girlfriend. She had some money. And so, uh, she funded the first blacklisted record, and we tried to put it out. I mean, nobody wanted it, so I was just sending like box of 50 all over the fucking world. It was a total cost, but it's still to this day I said, "Hey man, I got this record." I'm like, "Whoa!" But anyway, like we were doing weird stuff, and I think there was sometimes when I was stealing lawnmowers to pay for demo tapes to pass out to everybody, and
Don't do that.
Is that where
Whatever you
my
do, don't.
lawnmower went?
I was
Yeah,
like 19 or something.
dude, you had the
I'm
girlfriend
not
with all
gonna
the
sit here
money.
and act like I'm an angel. I tell the truth. I did some crazy shit. Um, I was, some of those first demo tapes, I was stealing lawnmowers to fucking pay for
Shit.
them.
Damn.
Um, later on, it was Andy's stripper girlfriend, and then I had to borrow some money to put out the Glasspack. Um, but that's what was going on. And so,
That's
but
life.
anyway, eventually got to a record label. Management went bankrupt, and then Small Stone came along. And other labels wanted to put out various little pieces here and there. Uh, but yeah, we
Well,
done a lot of cool stuff.
that, that's how the underground scene works is like you get there's always a lot of like smaller labels working in conjunction releasing stuff
Yeah.
from all these different artists, which really helps because I think a lot of the smaller labels, they're fucking regional, you know what I mean? Like, so it would, oh, this label's putting out this single, so then in the fucking Northeast, oh cool, well now all these Northeast people are gonna fucking get into it, and it just helps grow those fan bases. I mean, I think that was a
Yeah, I was
really cool
always
thing.
back in our beginning, I was always thinking really big, you know. It's like
Yeah.
I had a different perception. It's like I looked at what everybody else was doing and I wanted to do more. And so, there were those things like you were talking about. And then there was the attitude that we used to have back in the beginning that every show, just like the MC5, Glasspack believed every single show was a battle of the bands and we were going to kick your ass next. And that's how we approached our shows. Now, were we nice to the other musicians? Yeah. We return the favor and they come here and play with us. But the bottom line was we're gonna kick your ass.
We're gonna kick
And
your
like
ass on
and
that
then
stage. Yeah.
yeah, on that stage. And then when it came to putting records out, I understood that, a lot of the punk bands around here were happy with just putting out their records in Louisville or in the area or region. I wanted that shit to go to Japan. I was
Yeah.
like, Australia, um, across the world. And so I was
Yeah.
always
That that
looking
shit's
at
hard
people.
now.
And a lot of times people, nobody even liked us, would tell us not want us to play or tell us that, we wouldn't be able to do this or that or we're outsiders because we never fit in. Because you got to remember in the early 2000s, whatever's considered stoner rock now, man, that wasn't a thing back then. It was very tiny. And it was
Yeah.
like we were the only band in the city that was playing that what we were playing. No other bands playing that. I mean, we have to play with bands that complete polar opposites. And we opened up for the Frogs one time, the band from Chicago. And
That's wild.
yeah, that was like the second show. The first show was My Own Victim, because Purple Jesus dropped out and they said we could take their spot. Second show was Frogs. Third show was like Melt Banana, Japanese band. Their first
Oh
tour.
sh.
Yeah, we were hanging out with them in the Mercury Ball. They couldn't speak English. We couldn't speak Japanese. We were the first ones to ever give them a White Castle milkshake. They were
Oh
like,
no.
um,
The thing I love about White Castle, dude, is it smells the same going out as it does going in.
that's so foul.
It's the fucking truth though.
No, it's the truth
Like,
for sure. It's just foul. Definitely the
yes, it
truth,
is
but it's
very
very
foul.
foul.
Yes.
Um,
Okay, listen, I got to rock. I got a I got a thing to do. So, uh, when we'll need to do something more, maybe right before the 7-inch gets released.
that could be about a month from now.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah,
We'll
so
see.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he should have the vinyl next week. And then I think just waiting on the jackets then. So yeah, so we'll
Oh, hey,
fucking
man.
do it again. And next time we're gonna focus on Andy because he didn't really talk this time.
I
Oh
needed
no,
him for
we're good.
support. Um,
Days needs the
the
emotional support. Thanks, Andy.
yeah.
Hey, that's what I
Just gonna
am.
sit there.
Sometimes I'm a guitarist, sometimes I'm a bassist, sometimes I'm just a guy hanging out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm trying to
sometimes
remember
that
how he got his nickname, Lil Bucky, and I think it's because Leland said he was like everybody's little brother. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean, but why do you call him Lil Bucky? Because he's like everybody's little brother.
not
Yeah,
bad,
I
not
just
bad. Okay,
so dice it up and take some of my talks out. If I was talking too much, the other
no.
thing is I want everybody to know that the 7-inch or the single, the fuzz, we're doing it ourselves. There's no label involved. The real way to find that is to go on our Bandcamp. I mean, we're gonna put it in DistroKid, and it'll go to wherever it goes from them. I don't keep track of all that. I just put it in there.
So it'll hit
And
all the
then
streaming services.
yes, and we have the Spotify, and we just got granted official access to our YouTube material. We got the Instagram, the Facebook, and I'm working on the TikTok, which we got through DistroKid. But this is a lot of stuff for an old man to keep up with, but
Oh,
I've been
dude,
doing it.
listen, I'm telling you what, like I got a buddy who every time I turn around, he's like, "Oh, you need to get on this new platform." Like,
No.
I'm done. Like, I don't need all those platforms. I got too much shit going on. So, but I do have to run. I'm running late. Dave, Andy, thank you guys very much for your time this evening. It was a fucking pleasure chatting. Um, don't forget the the fuzz. I was getting ready to tell him the howl. The fuzz is out everywhere streaming January 20th, and the howl. We are 138. And what was the third song?
20 eyes.
There you go. Will be out.
138, 20 eyes in the house.
Yeah.
So that will be out sometime, I would say, in the next like 2 months, just to make sure there's time.
It's taking a considerable amount of time.
It
But
does
I'll be
for
working
sure.
on. We'll be working on other stuff. There might be the Chrome. There'll probably be the Chrome cover, digital that we release from the band. We'll be working on the Moon Patrol. We'll probably start recording even more newer material, and hopefully, eventually, we'll get to play out. The problem is that the material got so built up, and my writer's block broke, and now it's just pouring out. And it's like when you're a musician, you got to capture that when it comes. You don't get to say, "Okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now." You gotta grab it when it's there, because it ain't
Lightning in a
always
bottle.
there. Yeah,
Yep.
and so that's kind of where we're at. But we got the band together and we play a little bit, but it'll be soon, hopefully.
Yeah,
All
hopefully.
right, thank you.
Hell yeah.
Thank
Have a great
you.
night, guys.
All right, awesome.
See
Later.
ya.